healthy food substitutes, sugar substitutes. We all like a little bit of sweetness in our diet, and of course sugar is something that we enjoy. But we might be hearing, or you've probably already heard, that sugar is not the healthiest thing for you. Well, it's a bit more complex than that, because we do actually need sugar. Carbohydrates are sugars. But we need more complex carbohydrates rather than simple carbohydrates. Also, there's a problem with sugar, as in refined sugar. So there's really two problems there. First of all, our diet is too high in carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates. Now, the problem with simple carbohydrates is that they are fast releasing, and they basically overwhelm our body. Your body has to produce a lot of insulin to deal with them, and insulin is a fat storing hormone, so you're more likely to get fat while taking a lot of simple carbohydrates. Another issue with insulin production is that you can become insulin resistant, which means you need more and more, and of course in some cases that can wear out the pancreas and result in the development of diabetes. Now, so that's one problem, it's just a lot of simple carbohydrates. The other thing is the quality of refined sugar, as in the sugar that we get in the shop. So first of all, we're having a problem by having too much simple sugars in our diet, which are fast releasing. The second thing we're having is refined sugar, which is being put through a 14-stage process and is basically useless for your health and actually robs minerals from your body as well as making you fat. Also, the problem with refined sugar and simple sugars in general is they result in an energy surge, which gives you a high, then a sudden drop, which gives you a low. So that's basically the problem with sugar, and it results in a lot of health problems. For example, diabetes, fungal infections. It raises insulin levels, resulting in obesity. It raises calorie intake, resulting in obesity. It can damage the liver. It can raise uric acid levels, which can lead on to kidney and heart disease. High sugar levels put a stress on the metabolism, which results in the difficulty of maintaining homeostasis. In simple terms, it puts more of an overload on your body and kind of wears you out. High sugar levels have an impact upon our energy levels, making it more difficult to make life's changes because we get a sudden high and then we get a sudden low, which is not good. So again, getting back to the nature of sugars, we actually need carbohydrates for energy. But if we compare with, say, the 19th century, in 1822, the average American was consuming 6 pounds of sugar a year. By the year 2000, the average American was consuming 107 pounds of sugar a year. So that's a 17-fold increase in sugar intake. So we're simply taking in too much sugar, and too much of sugar, it's refined sugars. If you think of complex sugars we get in things like oats and wheat and bran and foods like that, and also you can get various cereals, but you know, some of them it depends. Things like white rice, of course, is mainly simple carbohydrates. Brown rice is more complex carbohydrates. Some pastas are very high in simple carbohydrates, some are less. You have to look at the packaging and see what's there, but you want to take stuff that's high in complex carbohydrates. High on complex carbohydrates will release slowly, and you'll have a lot less of these side effects. So these are the two things: one, taking too many simple sugars; two, taking too much refined sugar. Also, when we think of taking too much sugars, a lot of sugar is hidden. So bread, for example, is sugar. Your cornflakes is sugar. Sugar is all over the place. So it is hidden. So there's certain things you can do. For example, you can take diet sodas rather than regular sodas. But you should really, you know, just look at what food you're taking and try and observe the packaging to have some idea of what you're doing to make sure that you're not taking in too much hidden sugars. Also, you can try and reduce sugar in your diet. But this leads on to another issue, you could say, is, well, you still want some sweetness in the diet, so surely there must be some healthy sugar replacement, and there's several. I'm going to list a few here now. One is honey. We all know about honey. Everybody knows honey is great. Well, honey is mainly sugar, but it's got a variety of sugars. It's 30% glucose, it's 40% fructose, and it's 10% other sugars. It's incredibly healthy. It's a strong antibiotic. It's a tonic for your body. It tastes good. It's really, really healthy for you. Honey is really fantastic. So honey is something you can do rather than taking in refined sugar. Another option is stevia. Stevia comes from South America and has been used for many generations as a healthy sugar substitute. Steviosides are derived from stevia and are 200 times stronger than sugar. They come in liquid form, in packets, tablets, and they dissolve easily. You can also use them in bakery. They are 100% natural, and some people find a metallic aftertaste, some people don't, but you can try stevia and see. That's a good option. It's a lot healthier than refined sugar. Maple syrup. Maple syrup is a wonderful sugar alternative. It boasts a wide range of benefits, which include the following. It boosts the immune system. It is high in antioxidants. It is good for the heart and the cardiovascular system. And also it's high in zinc and minerals, which can help male reproductive health. So far, so good. However, the majority of maple syrup out in your local supermarket is full of corn syrup and artificial flavoring. So you gotta be watching out. Just because of maple syrup does not necessarily mean it's good quality. Also, the really good stuff is usually expensive. One option you can try is you can make maple syrup at home. If you want to make maple syrup at home, you take 3 cups of water. You mix in 2 tablespoons of maple flavoring, 2 cups of stevia, 2 cups of xanthan gum. You squeeze 1 lemon, add a pinch of salt, and mix in 1 cup of molasses. Add them into the blender, blend, and just put them in the fridge in a container, and add in as and when you want to, and you can have this beautiful maple syrup. Also, if it's a little bit too thick, you just add a bit more water to liquefy it. So there's something that's very, very tasty and very healthy. And you know, maple syrup, fantastic on pancakes, fantastic in so many things. What about for baking? Well, here's an alternative for baking, is date sugar alternative. And here we go. If you want to use dates as a sugar alternative, you have to convert them into a paste. So begin by soaking the dates in hot water until they become soft. Take the dates out of the water and pour them into a food processor or blender. Now don't throw away the water. You're going to take a teaspoon of water from that, maybe 2, and add it back into the blender and add in the mix that you already have, and then again blend until smooth and soft. Add some water if necessary to make it more of a creamy taste. Filter any fiber out, and then again you can store it in the fridge and use it as you like as a healthy baking alternative. So again, to sum up sugar, the problem with sugar is not inherently bad. But the problem is that most of us are taking too many refined sugars. So try and look into your diet and try and make sure you're taking more complex sugars. Carbohydrates are getting a bad rap lately. A lot of people are anti-carbohydrates. I think a lot of these things are fads. Back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, it was all fat was evil. Now fat is wonderful and carbs are bad. I personally think the way forward is a balanced diet with carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Carbs are not the enemy, but you should be taking not so many carbs, and also mainly complex carbohydrates. Try and keep away from too many refined sugars. And if you want sweetness for baking, you can try dates, and for otherwise you can take stevia, honey, and of course on many you can mix maple syrup in with so many foods just to add sweetness. You can put maple syrup on your toast, you can put maple syrup on your pancakes, on your muffins. There's so many things you can add it in, and it's much healthier than regular sugar. So I know it's difficult to follow healthy options while having a taste, and sometimes you have to sacrifice a bit, but before you either pack in the sugar and accept a life without sweetness, or before you just pack in the healthy thing and say I just have to have my sugar and who cares, just try some of these healthy alternatives, because really these are healthy substitutes and they do work. And try at least 1 or 2 of these out, just little substitution here or there, and if every week or 2 you substitute something, a little bit here, a little bit there, over the next few months you might find that you're reducing a lot of your sugar intake, and you'll feel a healthy benefit as a result of it. Okay, have a nice day, and thanks for dropping by.